We have this story here. This is just in. Alleged Austin mass shooter identified wore property of Allah sweatshirt.
I have some breaking news. I want to bring this in now. I've been telling everybody about the Austin mass shooter, and now we have a picture. And this is what we're finding out. Per multiple federal law enforcement sources to our own Bill Mallusion, the Austin mass shooter is a 53-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen who was born in Senegal and was living in Pflugerville, Texas.
Now, is this related at all to what's been going on in Iran, which, you know, I think we're gonna end up talking about that as well. But I do wonder if this is related to what happened in Iran, because there have been rumors, of course, that we still have sleeper cells in the United States of America. Actually, I definitely believe that we have sleeper cells in the United States of America, and I don't know what, I don't know what Ali Khamenei would gain, right, from a sleeper cell being activated, but, you know, the regime in Iran does still seem to be intact. So maybe they had these sleeper cells activated, maybe these sleeper cells activated on their own. Still don't, I frankly know not a whole lot about this specific instance. So I don't know even if this guy was part of a terrorist cell or not. But very interesting. Property of Allah certainly is a little bit more than a dog whistle as to what this person's goal was.
Material recovered from his person and inside the vehicle give possible indications of a nexus to terrorism, as the FBI announced earlier today. And remember what we said he had in his possession and was also wearing. The shooter was wearing clothing that said Allah on it. His sweater said property of Allah. And there's also known to be an undershirt with an Iranian flag and other materials inside. And remember what Representative Michael McCall of Texas just told me last hour. He said, Harris, in my own backyard just last night, we had an event that possibly could have been terror inspired right here in Austin, Texas. This is what he was talking about. Brett, I was reminding Americans this is not a new place for us to be in terms of keeping our heads on a swivel, but it bears repeating. We've lost Americans in the fight on the battlefield, and protecting the homeland now is also something that we must be on the alert. Now, authorities have not tied this Austin situation to what's happening in the Middle East as terror related to that, but they are investigating it just moments ago, confirming as a possible terror attack. Your reaction?
Well, we have to remain vigilant. I mean, Khamenei, he was a religious figure. We don't know if this attack was associated, but it very well may be. But the fact is, this isn't a representation of how most people from that region feel. The Iranian people, they fear their own rulers more than our own military. They hate, their own oppressive rulers than anyone else. And we may
also, is that guy really Iranian? I don't know. I don't know if that guy's really Iranian. He could be. You never know, but
more attacks like this, we have to be vigilant. There are proxy groups everywhere that are looking for ways to harm Americans and hurt Americans. And but the fact of the matter is, overall, there are images right now showing most Iranians and most Shias celebrating today, not because of war, but because they hate their own rulers more than anyone else. That's a sign that we're striking, not just at their military, we're striking at the legitimacy of a brutal regime. The Iranian people want better relationships with the West. They have the potential to be our biggest ally. I think it's important we collectively separate the terrorist regime from that of the majority Iranian people. These people have spent decades, trying to hurt us. And so the fact is, again, we just need to remain vigilant in the wake of these strikes.
Look, I don't want to make too much out of this because the FBI and federal authorities have to do their jobs and tell us what the facts are with this particular case. But you are looking at on your screen right now the man that they suspect to be the Austin, Texas shooter. And he is 53 years old. And I don't know if you had seen this as well. There were all sorts of descriptions about age, but now we know some specificity. He's 53-year-old American citizen, naturalized originally from Senegal. He is wearing a sweater, and you can see here a sweater that says property of Allah with an undershirt in the Iranian flag. I want to ask you about this. We had a tremendous amount of people come across the border, and I can't ignore this because this is just fact, Brett. There are a lot of people in this country, we don't know if they're being radicalized. Maybe some came in and they participated in that or led the way or have become something different while they're here. But it matters letting millions of people come in and you have no way to vet them. And that's what happened under the Biden administration. We're catching up, but a lot of those people are still here. Your thoughts?
Well, with that, as well as what's going on overseas, there's been a seismic shift in global security, right? That regime over there in Iran is, fragile.
Okay, so I wanted to look this up. I didn't want to speak out of turn, but apparently Iran and Senegal's relations are close enough to warrant an entire Wikipedia article. Says here, Iran-Senegal relations. Iran-Senegal relations refer to the historical and current bilateral relationship. Bilateralism is the conduct of political, economic, or cultural relations between two sovereign states. It is in contrast to unilateralism or multilateralism, which is activity by a single state or jointly by multiple states, respectively. You can see on 23rd February 2011, Senegal severed diplomatic relations with Iran, but relations have since then been reestablished. Relations were described as positive in 2019. There have been state visits, economic ties, etc. We've got a little map here that shows the distance. They're not neighbors by any stretch of the imagination, but they are allies. So that's interesting to note, I think, and probably relevant, that Senegal and Iran, they are friendly with each other. So it would make sense to me that this could be in response to the assassination of Khamenei.
After decades of corruption, that border for years was a perfect place for the Iranian regime to send some of their proxy groups undetected. I don't know if you remember years ago, we almost had an attack in DC where Iranians were sent in to try and kill the Saudi ambassador at the time. There are humans out there that want to hurt us. And right now there is a complete structural shock to the Iranian regime and their way of life. Their internal system is highly centralized around this supreme leader, and that religious leader is gone. I think that was one of the reasons that President Trump initially had maybe held off the Israelis striking Khamenei, because he was such a religious figure. But that's changed now. We've removed that node, and it's created this uncertainty inside the clerical establishment across the proxy networks globally, and we need to just pay attention for more attacks like this.
Interesting.
Velikovich, thank you for your response on those Americans who've been killed and those who have been badly injured. Thank you very much. On behalf of all those families, both of us, we wish them well.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I do hope that they get more details about that shooter's motivations, identity, all of that stuff, because, finding out more information about shooters like that certainly does help us figure out, okay, well, how could this be prevented in the future? Also, I would like to look up more information at some point about what caused or not what caused the shooting, but like how the shooting went down. Because also you can examine kind of what the response was like, and then try to think of ways that the response could have been improved, and more lives could have been saved.